another tip I would have for you or any new content creator, stay consistent and do your best to push through to get your watch hours and your subscribers in year one. Because after year one, those hours start to drop off. So you're going to be in that battle of, how many hours am I going to have tomorrow?
Yeah, like so my goal right now is to do at least one show a week. And it's I mean it's definitely a grind because I gotta get up, I gotta, you know, do research on the guest, and then I gotta, post the content from the last show and everything like that. So it's definitely been a grind, and then obviously I have to. I'm not famous or anything, so it's not like I have a million people just waited. Like I could just be like, okay, you come on my show. Like no, I have to like reach out to people and email and do all kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm very aware that like I got basically a year until it's like basically an uphill climb from the watch hours. So I'm definitely gonna try and get my watch hours from a year from today. Well, it's
Yeah.
only been like 2 weeks, so I got another 50 weeks to go until
Right.
I got to battle that beast.
Yeah.
Um, Back to the real estate, I want to ask like how much like time does managing your properties take up for you? Like on like let's say like a weekly basis.
It doesn't take much. Thankfully, it's not like I'm constantly having issues, but sometimes it's more than others.
Hmm.
But not much, really not much. There's actually some months where all I do is collect rent. There's no drama, there's nothing to fix. So, just a
Hmm.
matter of paying the bills and collecting the rent sometimes.
That's
But
good. That's
then
good.
then then obviously there are other times when there's plumbing issues and all those other things. But like I said, I'm when I get out there, especially when I'm going to look for properties, I am a regular person. I get out there. I'm might have my hair scarf on, sneakers,
Hmm.
because I'm out there and I'm trying to look for properties. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm trying to get down there. I'm going to be in every dark corner of the basement, looking under the water heater, and I'm really into it, and I'm not here to just. I'm not a person in the position where I can just lay back and someone else does that part. I get in there and I really do it myself. But it doesn't take me a lot of time right now. It's not like I have a huge amount of units, but it's not the traditional, like some people say it's passive income. It's not passive when you are the property manager, but sometimes some weeks it
Hmm.
is. Some weeks it's easier than others.
Exactly. It's definitely
Mhm.
not passive. Like I honestly don't really believe anything is passive income besides like
Yeah.
maybe dividends, but anything else you're gonna have to work for it. Even if you have people on your team that work with you. Like I have a team of editors and we do stuff, but like it's not, even though like I'm not like in the weeds of everything, it's still what it is. It's mental capacity, and that's probably the main thing that I'd be trying to tell my parents is like, even if it's like super passive and it doesn't take that much time, that's still something that I have to like cognitively like be worried about, like, oh, like what's happening with the property. And I kind
Mhm.
of don't, I'm not at the point
Yeah.
to where I want to do that, especially because like I'm not, this isn't where I want to settle down for the rest of my life either. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and I don't
And
have
you
any
have to be you have to be present because people out here, they're scammers. They're trying to take advantage of you. So if I'm having repairs or I'm trying to do something, I have to be present. I have to be there. I have to show my face.
Hmm.
And they have to, if it's a larger project, I want them to think, I don't know when Lisa might pop up, so
Oh
that
yeah.
they're there and they're working and things are getting done. So
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue to my next question that I thought of was like, what's a crazy like real estate story that's happened, whether you and a tenant or you and a contractor? Like, what's a crazy story?
I don't know that I have any crazy stories because, like I
Really?
said, it's kind of been at a standstill lately. But yeah, I have gone to I've looked at some properties. I've been misled, and I've gone to some properties, especially with COVID, and I would say I've seen some crazy things. I can't say that I've personally experienced anything that bad, but I've seen some, like I looked at this one two family once, and 2 units, a 2 bedroom apartment with 7 people living there. I've gone to properties where they use what they have, like the windows, the bathtub. They just things that were too big or too small, they just use whatever materials that they have and just make a disaster of the place and then want to sell you it for top dollar. So I've wasted a lot of time going and looking at places that just were not worth my time. But
Mm,
of course, online they show you what they want to show you to get you over there. So
exactly.
I've run all around the entire state and looked at things that just were not worth my time. But I couldn't tell by the information that they showed. And another thing that I ran into a lot is properties in, just to touch on this, properties
Mm,
that are in probate and they're not sure when you can close on them. So something that maybe people can take from this conversation: be mindful, have a plan, have a will, have all of your things in order so that your family is not in these type of struggles when you are gone.
yeah, that's dope. What about in terms of like real estate investing? You got any advice on people who are trying to get in the game? I know with interest rates and everything, like the interest rate, I don't know what they are now, but I remember they were hiking them crazy in like 2022, 2023. Um, so would you say now is a good time to buy? Should people wait till interest rates go lower? Like, what are you thinking?
To me, it's never. I've never stopped looking. It wasn't necessarily just about the interest rate. It's about the deal, and if the
Hmm.
deal is going to make me money, I would move on it at any point. But that's the issue with the housing prices climbing so high, as well as the interest rates. Um, I'm not going to ever get into a situation where I don't know when I'll be able to refinance, and I'm basically paying for my tenants to live there. No, that's not a situation that I'm never going to be in. As long as
Hmm.
the deal is profitable for me, then I can move on it.
Got you. And then for people that, might not be familiar with the real estate game, like what are some things to look out for to make a deal profitable?
Just like with investing, you have to go into it with a plan. If you have to know what percentage you like, if you're buying a 3 unit or a 4 unit, what is your intention here? Is 1.5 units going to pay for the mortgage and the maintenance and everything? You have to get into it with a plan and stick to it. Don't be flexible. Don't get yourself in over leverage, in a position that you didn't want, and then have to wait and try to dig yourself out of it. Then you're struggling if you have 2 empty units, for an extended amount of time. If something is damaged, if you're working on doing some renovations or things, just make sure that you have a plan when you're getting into it, so that you're always in the place that you want to be. My goal with everything with investing, whether it's real estate or my stock in the stock market, it's to make money. So I'm not trying to get myself in any deal that is not in line with my goals.
Yeah, definitely gotta have a deal that makes sense for people. But for me, and that's another reason why like I'm not necessarily trying to get into real estate is that I don't know enough about the market and the industry in order to make those like decisions. And I'll be damned to have my first deal that I go into like not work out after I already was like, okay, like I really didn't even want to, like I was kind of like half in it. Like for me, like I'm somebody who if especially when it comes to like business and stuff, if I'm going to like go for it, I'm going to go for it. So like when I started this podcast, I was like, if I'm not gonna just be like, okay, let me have like some terrible camera and not have a professional team and not have a professional setup. I was like, nah, like if I'm gonna do it, I want people to come to my page and be like, oh, like, oh, you have like, professional thumbnails. You have, the production quality is good. And I have had people say that to me, and it makes me feel good that people really appreciate the hard work that I put in. So, and
Yeah.
I'm just not in a point right now where I could put that same effort into real estate without having it impact other things that I care about more about. So,
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's going to have a different avenue. Whether it's you're focusing on your business and your investments, you don't have to get into real estate. It's not for everyone.
exactly. There's a million ways to chase a bag and to become financially free, and everybody just has
Hmm.
to, figure out what their lane is. One podcast I did with Dimitri, the lawyer, I actually just posted that on Thursday. He was telling me, or he was talking about one thing that he did is he found out really quickly what he was good at, and he kind of just stuck to that lane. And I think that is that's really powerful, and people should really like take a hard introspection at, okay, what am I good at? What are my strengths? What can I monetize around those strengths, and then go from there, as opposed to just trying to be like, okay, well, this opportunity looks like shiny object syndrome. Oh, this opportunity looks good. Let me look into that. But that might not align with, their goals right now or their skill set. They might not align with both. And then they end up thinking that, oh, like that opportunity or that vehicle doesn't work. And it's not necessarily the vehicle. It's not that like real estate doesn't work or stocks don't work or something like, or, you know what I mean? It's the individual. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
But speaking of stocks, I want to kind of get into, what are you looking at right now? Like, what are some high conviction stocks for this upcoming market?
High conviction stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I'm not always trying to chase something new. Like I was sharing with you earlier, I'm just basically trying to build what I have. I don't need a portfolio with 50 different investments in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's overwhelming for me. So I just have I'm trying to build up my position into VOO. I'm doing FXAIX for retirement. I'm trying to build those up as much as I can. Let the dividends amount quarterly just start to increase for me, and then I just try to dollar cost average into my chosen blue chip stocks. It's not every month that I'm adding something new to my portfolio. I'm a long term investor. I describe myself as a long term investor, not a trader or really, I don't know.
Not even a swing trader.
Sometimes, but it's when the opportunity arises. I am a member
Mm-hmm.
of Keenan Grace's Discord. I'm in there. I'm looking at different option plays. I do go to his live trading sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it's really not for me. I always make sure I have money ready if I want to jump into something like that, but it's not an
Mm-hmm.
every week thing for me. So, you know, I'm definitely looking into AI and pharmaceuticals, and I bring different elements into my portfolio that I think are going to be good long-term holds for me, but
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily a swing trade.
Got you. And then, I mean, this might not apply to you if you're not like really swing trading. You're really a long term investor. But what indicators do you use?
Of course, I'm going to look at the PE ratio and the long-term performance, the dividend yield, as well as the expense ratio. Those are things that I'm trying to stay in tune with. The forward PE, where is the company going? And I use those before I want to add something into my portfolio for the long term.
You were talking about the PE and stuff, so that's what you're like looking at and like to determine, oh, is this a good investment or not? And then if the numbers look good, then you're like, okay, you go for it.
Yeah, and then I'll make a plan on how am I going to add this to my portfolio for the long term. Like for example, I might say I'm going to take this time frame. It's going to be $10 a day or $20 a day, and I'm going to start to build up my first position into this investment to get
Mm-hmm.
it, a good little start into my portfolio, and then from there I can decide if I want to do it weekly or biweekly and move forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do. Those are my taxable accounts. Those are my early retirement accounts. As far as my retirement, I work a corporate job. I have a 401k. So what I do there is when I can, I increase the percentage that I'm contributing there, and I am mindful of the performance of my portfolios, especially because I want to retire as soon as possible. So I need to make sure that I'm making sure to have my investments, my taxable accounts where I want them and growing at the rate that I want, as well as my retirement accounts for later on in life for 67 plus on track. And
Mm-hmm.
if I am able to stop working early or soon, I'm going to have to continue to contribute to both of the accounts, the ones for later on in life and the ones that I can tap into now.
And then, like, how important does a company's dividend play into if you're going to add it to your portfolio? I'm sure that comes into play in terms of if you want to add it, so that way you get that dividend essentially, hopefully for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I really don't have anything that I'm chasing. I don't want to just chase the dividend yield. I need a balance of the yield as well as the growth of the stock. So I only have a few investments that are dividend focused. I think I have much more money allocated into my growth portfolio.
Got you for sure. And then, yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on earlier is like you had mentioned that, you're working corporate, you have a night job and, you're obviously doing content and stuff. And then you also have kids. Like, how is it like being, a mother and trying to juggle all this?
Well, I mean, I only have one daughter is she's married, she's out of the house. I only have two kids. My older daughter that's here, she's a teenager. It's not like I have little ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I still have responsibilities. My daughter, she can't drive. My mother cannot drive either. So I have
Hmm.
different responsibilities and family members that I have to help. But I mean, it's working. I didn't expect for to be in this stage for the length of time that I have,
Hmm.
but it is what it is. I thought that something would have come together, so I would not have been doing everything that I've named so far, overlapping for so long. But hopefully, soon enough, something will be eliminated out of this list, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I was just talking about like the season to know, like there's just certain seasons and you said it's unexpected that you were gonna be in this season for this long, but I mean it's just a season. You'll eventually get to the other side. So coming to the end, I only got a few more questions and then I'm gonna hit the rapid fire round. I know that the market right now is really high. So like somebody who might not have a portfolio build out, would you recommend that they build out their positions now or should they wait for the market to cool off? Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't ever take a break from investing completely. I would say I if you're not started, start. Today is the day to start. And with that, be prepared, have money on hand, and get in tune with your investments so that when there is a dip on something that you plan on holding long term, you can go harder.
Got you. Got you. All right. So let's get into this rapid fire round. So, stocks or crypto?
Stocks,
Yeah, I figured. And then investing or trading.
investing.
All right. Any role models?
I have many role models. And I'm not, I am a fan of Keenan Grace, and not just a fan. I am a supporter.
Hmm.
I am inspired by what he has accomplished.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely. His
as
growth
well
has
as
been
others,
crazy.
my list can go on and on, but
Hmm.
I'll just use that one.
Perfect. And then any good books that you would recommend people read? Doesn't have to be stocks. It could be anything that you read that was like, oh yeah, this was a good read.
I know you said you have to say no, but a book that I recently reread was Year of Yes by Chandra Rhimes.
That's funny.
And when you were saying that, it was making me think about that. But with that, say yes to things that are going to get you out of your box, that are going to get you on track, that are going to elevate you. Don't say yes to things that are not going to improve your life, your financial outlook, anything like that. So I think that some people are just not willing to invest in themselves and get out of the house. So say yes to some different things.
Definitely. Well, everybody, that was Lisa J. Stocks. Lisa, you want to tell people where they can find you at?
Well, I am Lisa J. Stocks on YouTube, and you can also find me over on Instagram. There will be a link tree that'll bring you to any other social medias or anywhere else that my email or anything that you would need to find to locate me.
For sure, for sure. We'll leave everything in the show notes below. That's a Beyond Ordinary podcast. Hopefully, we inspired you to be great. And I'm going to put on the screen some of the other interviews I did with some of the other stock individuals. Till next time, peace.